new direction came big changes for the Miami Heat.
Arguably the greatest basketball coach in the history of the sport, and now he was with the Heat.
There's this image in my mind about the symbolic parade, this championship parade.
All of a sudden, the Miami Heat had something it never had before. It had an identity. We're the hardest working, toughest, nastiest team in the NBA.
That season was the season that he became rock stars.
Witness the birth of one of the most intense rivalries in sport.
Watch out, this one's going to get really ugly.
And it ignited one of the greatest comebacks in history.
Hardaway for three!
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another special edition of Inside the Heat. I'm Eric Reed. In their first 7 years as an NBA franchise, the Miami Heat enjoyed one winning season and twice made it to the playoffs, where both times they were eliminated in the first round. Not bad for an expansion team, but not noteworthy otherwise. Then, in the summer of 1995, Mickey Arison changed the course of Heat history and set the tone for a new era of Heat basketball with a first of many bold moves. All of a sudden, word starts to emanate from New York City that the Heat and Pat Riley had begun talking.
Mickey wanted to win an NBA championship. And so what did he do in the offseason? Well, he went out and got the best guy he could possibly get, Pat Riley.
Mickey basically said, I don't care what it costs, what it takes. I'm going to make sure that my team has everything that it needs to become a contender.
That I wanted to get the best head coach possible. Pat was the best head coach available, maybe the best head coach in the league.
It's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce you to the new president and head coach of the Miami Heat, Pat Riley. Pat.
He took the job. We now sit on board one of the Carnival ships.
I believe that we could go down and change the culture and we could turn it quick.
I think the fortunes of the team dramatically changed when Pat came aboard.
It was clear that the Heat were determined to make a statement about who they were and the importance, really, of the Miami market.
Here we are sitting here, and arguably the greatest basketball coach in the history of the sport, and now he was with the Heat.
There's this image in my mind about the symbolic parade, this championship parade, and that's the only reason that I coached.
Everything we did from that day forward was based upon what is going to lead to that parade down Biscayne Boulevard.
Because that's really what sports does. It gives you hope that this is the person who takes you to the promised land.
Pat Riley did not waste any time. 17 days into his tenure, he hired his former Laker assistant, Randy Fund, as the Heat's executive vice president.
I knew if Pat was going to be in Miami, it was going to be first class, and we were going to build a winner.
Mickey is the one that said, hey, change it. Let's make this a first-class franchise.
Wiley has always believed that the way you win in the NBA is to get a dominant big man. And so he looked around, and the first guy he went after was Alonzo Mourning.
I remember getting a call in the middle of the night from Pat saying Alonzo Mourning's available trade. It's going to be very expensive. But if we pull the trigger, it's going to make a huge difference in the future of this franchise.
Just 2 days before the start of the season, Pat Riley sent Glen to Charlotte for Alonzo Mourning in a 6-player blockbuster trade.
Look at him try!
He was the closer. You could see why they wanted him to sort of be the Wall Street character in the movies. He got deals done.
I think I'm fortunate to be in this situation right now. I will be playing under one of the greatest coaches that ever coached the game.
It was very exciting knowing someone the caliber of Alonzo and what he would bring to the franchise.
The shot!
All of a sudden, the Miami Heat had something it never had before. It had an identity.
It was like a God thing. I didn't expect something like that to happen this quickly, and that just sort of launched. It really did. It really launched the start of my tenure here in a very positive way.
The Heat launched its new era, winning 11 of their 14 games. In mid-December, the Heat faced the Knicks in New York.
And there's always been an inherent rivalry between Miami and New York.
Something has to happen to make that rivalry happen.
Going back to New York, I knew what was coming. I was getting nasty letters from fans. I was getting death threats.
And I can remember the headlines in the paper, Pat the Rat coming back.
Pat the Rat.
Pat the Rat. It was really comical.
By the end of February, the Heat were languishing at 24-29. Once again, Pat Riley dramatically changed his team. At the trading deadline, in one of the biggest trading days in NBA history, Miami completed 3 separate deals involving 10 players that would include the acquisition of Tim Hardaway. But before they could arrive in Miami, there was a game to be played against a world champion.
We had 8 guys. I mean, we had to hustle Tony Smith in here like quick to even be legal. And if we didn't, we're going to have to sign somebody off the street.
With only 8 players available, Rex Chapman led Miami to one of their most unlikely and memorable wins in franchise history.
Rex for 3. Oh, boy! Rex Chapman!
Pat Riley gets his most pleasing and most significant win as the head coach of the Miami Heat.
It came at the right time. I needed a new scenery. I needed new life. You could tell that the energy was here. They wanted something to happen now. I got skills.
With Tim and Alonzo, we had our first national stars.
Those 2 guys turned the franchise around.
Hardaway!
When Pat Riley and Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway got here, they became the core and the identity of the Heat.
Get it to Soul for the stuff.
Riley's first Heat team finished with a 42-40 record and made the 1996 playoffs.
We made the playoffs. The fans were excited. We got beat, of course, by the Bulls. But we had something going for us.
Tim Hardaway
Took it away from Jordan and laid it in.
Despite being swept by the Bulls, the Heat were optimistic about their future under Pat Riley.
It was just the beginning of what was to come in the Pat Riley year in Miami.